Hello, everyone. Welcome. It's Raleigh, and we're here. So before we get started, obviously we're going to be talking about the elite specialization thing. So there's a couple of things I want to talk about before we get into that. So you guys obviously can skip ahead if you want to. But there's a couple of things. So yesterday I released a like a state of the game thing. And the video quality was really bad. So it's something that some people might not even notice, or some people might not even care really, because it's not about visually what I'm showing, right? But it's about what I'm talking about in the video, right? But the important part is that I think what I figured out is, because my channel is so small, that from what I understand, I did a little bit of research. Apparently, on smaller channels on YouTube, I guess they lower the quality when they feel like it, and it seems like on my videos, if they're not like, I think there's like a certain like limit that they have to be, if they have to be like 20 or 30 minutes or something like that. If they're not that long, then YouTube like literally butchers my quality on it. I don't know, it's really shitty that they do it, but because I tell you what, when I watch those videos on my own, like at home, like here on my computer, when I'm done with them, they look really nice and crisp and clear, and you can see like all the details and stuff like that. But then I upload them and they're just complete garbage. So is YouTube is like throttling, doing whatever. They're like compressing my files or something, whatever. And there's nothing I can do. I guess it has to do with my channel being really small. But speaking of, we're like, as I'm recording this, I'm at 1999 in subscribers. So we're probably gonna hit 2,000. So thank you guys so much. 2,000 is a lot. I was just the other day on stream talking about like when I hit 200 the first time, and I was kind of like, oh man, 200, like it didn't seem it didn't seem very like a large number, but then someone told me, they were like, well, I mean, just imagine, like, you're in front of a crowd of 200 people, like that's a lot of people, right? And I was like, you know what, that's actually pretty, it's all about perspective and those things. So but yeah, so we've hit the 2,000 mark, and I'm super excited about that. Thank you guys so much. It's been lately, it's been really crazy, right? Like, it's been a long journey as is, but it's been like, and I know that I make very niche content and stuff like that, so that's kind of, I guess, my own fault in that matter. But yeah, I don't know, I just wanted to say thank you, and I'm very happy about that. And then the last thing that I wanted to talk about is, so the whole, like, okay, I've been very excited about Visions of Eternity, right? In the video yesterday, I kind of talked about how I think that Guild Wars 2 has like a very bright future ahead of it, right? But one thing I still cannot get on board with is the way that marketing works, right? So a lot of people criticized the way that they led up to the Visions, or not necessarily how they led up to it, but the reveal of Visions of Eternity, because the lead up to it was about teasing the elite specializations, right? And that was like the images, right? And I did a video on all of those, right? And we talked about it, and we were like, oh my god, we're gonna hear about all of them, blah blah blah. And then the reveal came, and we didn't get anything. We got images, and we could figure out like who gets what, kind of, on that, in that sense, or whatever, but it was literally like, it was like, okay, that was kind of strange, right? So a lot of people were like, what is this? Why are you teasing this, and then you're not, you're giving us a chart even where we can like put in where the elite specializations are going, and then you're not giving us any of those. That was already weird. I didn't say anything. I was like, you know what, it's fine, it's, whatever, like they want to keep teasing it or whatever, it's fine. But now I'm so confused, because then they revealed three of them, three of the names, right? And then they revealed like two more of the names, but they didn't say like which ones were gonna get him. But then now they're doing, like, it's so weird, because they like told us the elite specializations for three of them. But then now in this article, let me look at it real quick, they're giving us two that were later named but weren't told where they fit in the chart. And then we're getting one of the ones that we were told how it would fit in the chart. But the other two that we were already told where they go in the chart, we're not getting. I don't understand. Someone explain this to me, please. Like, I don't know. Is it just me? Am I just crazy? Like, it seems really weird to me. I'm like, why would you do it like that? Because the way that I always that I advertised it was like, okay, well they're gonna reveal 3 names, they're gonna tell us where they fit in, and then they're gonna give us a video or the blog post and then the stream about it or whatever, right? Like, and I thought, and then they're gonna do 3 more, and then they're gonna do 3 more. It looks like they're doing 3, but then it's like, why do you reveal 3 of them to be able to put on the chart? And then you give us 2 names that you don't tell us, you're like kind of like, ooh, we have the what was it, the Galeshot and the Luminary. Who do you think is gonna get those? And then you're gonna give us a, a blog post that does the 2 that you announced later, but not all 3 of the early ones. I don't know. I don't get it. It seems to me there was like a major miscommunication on how these were supposed to be revealed, because it seems to be all over the map. So I have no idea. That was something that really, really, like, when I looked at it this morning when the article came out, I didn't actually read the article. I just saw that, like, everyone is streaming right now. I saw Aurora Peachy is streaming. I saw that Muckluck is streaming. I saw that Mighty Teapot is streaming. All the big ones, right? Everyone's streaming, which is fantastic, right? And I know that everyone's watching those. So I will not be covering the live stream, mind you guys, so you guys can watch their live stream. I'm probably not even going to watch it myself. I want to have like a little bit of mystery as I go in, but I feel like as time goes on, right, like there's going to be people in Discord that are going to be talking about it, and it's fine, whatever, I get it. It's whatever, but if I have some time, I might watch those streams or whatever. But yeah, I'm just gonna go through the blog post, and that's why I wanted to do a video. That way I can just like upload the video, and then because the live stream is gonna be happening in like a little bit. But it's whatever. I'm not gonna watch it. I'm just gonna go through this thing. But yeah, I just thought it was really strange. I'm like, is this like, that seems like a really weird marketing strategy. Like I got the whole, like, in the beginning I was like, okay, they have it set up like they're gonna like slowly show the icons and they're gonna slowly reveal the names, right? Like, even though we got the expansion announcement, like, or reveal in the middle there, right? Like, which many people were like, why aren't we getting the names or whatever, at least, right? So I get that, right? But then it was just like, okay, now the way that you're revealing them and showing them is just so all over the map. I'm like, why do you have a chart if you're not going to use the chart properly, right? Like, you should be using the 3 that you've already sorted into the chart, right? Where we know where 3 are going or whatever. I don't know. It's weird. Anyways, so I just wanted to address those few things. Like I said, I'm trying to do the higher quality videos, right? That is like my biggest concern. But it seems to me, that it's smaller videos, because if you guys remember earlier this year, I did my intro into the lore, like regional lore or whatever, and all of those were shorter videos, and all of those were butchered as well, and I couldn't figure it out, but I had already uploaded like all of those videos, because they were all, like I said, I was working on them until I had them all done, and then I uploaded all of them at once. And I was like, I'm not going to go through all 9 videos now, trying to figure out why the quality is so crappy on those. So I'm really sorry. This is YouTube doing it. This is not because I don't, like, I literally go through and I make sure that I like render it at like a really high quality, but apparently YouTube does not like that because my channel isn't big enough. From what I understand, that's what I found out. So anyways, let's get into it. Ooh, I'm excited about this. Nonetheless, right? I have my headphones in today so I can actually listen to like the music. But yeah, so we have the elite specializations, Mesmer, Ranger, and Guardian. I guess one of the other reasons is that we have a light armor, a medium armor, and a heavy armor, right? Like, I guess that's the whole point here, that we get like one of each, weight class or whatever, right? Yeah, so I guess they start off with the I love this image. So they start off with a video, I guess. I don't know how loud this is gonna be for everyone, but we're just gonna, I do like the inclusion of the inquest, because, so I do want to say one other thing. So in the icon for Visions of Eternity, in the logo of Visions of Eternity, right? A lot of, I don't know, there was like talk about like, oh, Omat's machine, and it wasn't just one person. I will say there wasn't just one content creator that talked about it. There was I saw another forum post where someone said this as well. Someone said like, oh, the logo looks like Omat's machine. It doesn't look like Omat's machine. Okay, the actual like diamond shaped like spherical, not spherical, but like diamond shaped like buildings and stuff, like that's always been like Asuran, right? Like the diamond shaped has always been like Asura structure, architecture and stuff. But it's actually like part of the Inquest. If you watch yesterday's video, again, I have the Inquest symbol up. It's actually like a part of the Inquest symbol. I don't know where like the idea of Omad's machine came from, just because there was like a lot of like diamonds on there, I guess. Like a lot of people were thinking like, oh my god, Omad's machine. I'm not against, mind you, I'm not against Omad coming back into the story or like having connections to Omad or whatever, because he was studying the Eternal Alchemy and stuff, so that would make sense. But I will tell you guys, like it's like this doesn't look like Omad's machine. It like kind of just looks like the Inquest symbol, like on top of like something, right? Like the pillar, right? And it has the Inquest symbol on it. So anyways, I just wanted to point that out. But again, I could be wrong too. I don't know. Maybe again, maybe there is a connection to Omad. I don't know. But yeah, let's watch this. Apparently sound is off. This is 3 minutes. 3 minutes. Okay.
Their wild hunt lead them into the world where they experience tragedy and heroics, adventure and excitement. Now that they've returned to the grove, the Troubadour is ready to share their journeys in melody and tale. Let the instruments aid in battle, flustering your enemies, giving your allies time to attack. The lute strums 3 times on its magical strings, sending pulses of energy forth to deal damage to your enemies. As the battle's tempo ebbs and flows, let the harp heal your allies for a moment of soothing melodies. And as you build up notes, be ready to strike a crescendo upon your enemies, while giving your allies a helping hand. Tales of the Dominion of Winds are whispered on the breeze.
Oh.
Graceful warriors from the royal houses have emerged, eager to share their ways with the Tyrian alliance. The Galeshot manipulates magnificent gales to strengthen the power of their bow. Draw your cyclone bow, a testament to the magical abilities of these skilled Tengu. With your cyclone bow summoned, gain feathers over time. Use these feathers to bluster your enemy, firing 3 arrows rapidly at your target. Evade backwards, shooting a hail of wind and arrows, crippling your would-be assailants. Use your supersonic arrow, bursting forth with the power of the wind, dealing heavy damage. And finish off your enemy with a final blow, leaping back with a flourish of arrows. As your enemies fall, let the wind carry their last breath away. Rising from the ashes of the Char Civil War, the Iron and Flame Legions have combined their technological and magical sensibilities to harness radiant flame to beckon forth an era of change. Call up the Radiant Shroud to gain access to the power bestowed upon you. Protect yourself with your shield and daze your enemies with a quick bash. Bring the hammer down upon them as you grant boons to your allies with the hammer's presence. Take a stance against the damages done to your allies as you heal and grant them protection. Become a symbol of hope by fulfilling the duties of the Luminary.
Okay. So, all right. So this is kind of crazy. So one part, and I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I completely, for like the first 20 seconds, I was like kind of stuck on that. So what's really strange to me is, it's not necessarily strange, I can see where they're coming from, but it's so weird that they were like, they had these specific characters. And I don't know why it's funny to me, but they had these specific characters, but then they were talking about other races. So I was very taken aback when I saw the Mesmer and they were like, the Wild Hunt. And I'm like, this is like a Norn or something, right? Like this is like, or even a human. I don't know if that's a Norn or, I think that's a human, right? Like, yeah, that's definitely a human. So this is a female human and they're like, oh, the Wild Hunt and the Savari are back to the Grove. And I'm like, what? But so I guess what they're talking about is the idea that these elite specializations have influences from like all around Tyria because of the Tyrian alliance, right? So these are like, you know, the Tyrian alliance kind of coming together, meaning that they're sharing the different like magics and technologies and skills that they have learned throughout the years, right? And they're sharing it with all the people, meaning that technically this troubadour, troubadour, how do you pronounce it? I'm so bad. Okay, hold on, you guys. I want to hear.
Energy forth to deal damage.
Um,
Heal your ally. Be ready as a help whispered on the while giving your allies a helping hand.
okay.
Shen
Anyways, I don't know how to pronounce it properly. But anyways, so we go in, okay. So we get a lot of visual things, right? I'm gonna turn the sound off here for a minute, and we're gonna kind of see. So we see the lute, we see the harp, we see the flute, and it looks like, I don't know if it's dependent on like which weapon we're using, but it looks like these are going to be the new illusions, and people were correct. So it looks like you kind of have them right behind you, and they do different effects based on like what we do. So the harp is like the healer. This seems to be like the elite, like the crescendo that they talk about is like the elite, where you get the one thing that kind of bothers me is that and I don't know if it's because of the background that they chose to do this on, but you can barely even see the illusions. Okay, it's like very bright sand, so it's really hard. Like, I don't know why they chose to have a white background when they have like a light pink illusion there, um but yeah, we can only see it really in like these side shots, but the top down is really hard to see. But yeah, it looks like you summon like different like instruments, and then this is the crescendo. I don't know. Again, I don't know if this is the is this the um are these the utility skills? I don't think these are the. I think these are the shatters, right? Like, I think the shatters is you pull out whatever instrument and you play it, right? So we're gonna have to read about it. I'm not sure, but that's the kind of impression that I get. So then we talk about the Tengu. The Tengu actually get mentioned. Super interesting, because someone said, "What if the island of Castora is like in the Dominion of Winds?" And I was like, "Well, we would have seen like Tengu involvement in some shape or form." But it's really kind of weird that now we actually get an elite specialization that actually deals with the Tengu. So that's really cool. I don't think that has any meaning to the like actual story part of it. But yeah, so this looks to be like a kit, right? Like, this looks to be this bow. You actually like you take it out, and it's almost like the and uh people in the community were actually saying this. Um they were like, yeah, it's like a kit. You pull it out, and you have this like ephemeral bow that you get like new skills from. So that's what it looks like to me. It looks like to me that you pull it out, and it's it's this like weapon kit that you get, right? Like the Blade Sworn gets like the gun saber. Here we're getting this like spirit bow, right? But it's very like you gain feathers over time or whatever. What's really strange to me is that we don't see the pet in action at all, and that kind of so it's kind of weird to me, because again, a lot of people have been asking for like a specialization that does something very specific with the pet, that like I don't know, that like interacts with the pet in like a grander way. And I know that I guess Untamed was supposed to be that way, but Untamed was kind of like you switch between the two of you, right? Or whatever, and it's the same with like Soul Beast, where you like absorb the pet. So I don't know, I feel like we haven't really gotten like the pet thing, right? And it's so weird to me, because the pet just sits here. It doesn't do anything, right? There's no highlight to the pet. And then even when you shoot it, they have chosen to take away the pet, right? So there's no pet at all. Like, there's no, I mean, so there's the pet now. It did something there, right? It did attack at some point. Right there, you can see it like run into it. But yeah, so the pet is not playing a role at all in the spec, okay? That it doesn't look like the pet at all really plays a part in this. Um, but yeah, it's like the spirit bow, and I guess you can do like different things with it or whatever. So, not that I'm against it, but it looks to be like a kit, right? So it looks to be that you're gonna be stuck using this bow if you're gonna be the Galeshot, right? And then we have the Luminary, which they talk about a shroud, right? So they talk about a shroud. You get this little thing. We saw the picture of that, right? Um, and yeah, so they talk about like how you go into the shroud, and you get these illusionary weapons. And I don't know. Again, I don't know if these are. I don't know if these are like the F1 abilities, right? Like what if every F, like you have F1, F2, F3, right? And it's like it's the damage dealing one, it's the healing one, it's the defensive one, right? I always forget their names. The virtues, right? The virtues, but I forget what the virtue of resolve is. The healing one, I know that, but I forget the other ones. But what if like each one of those is almost like a mini shroud, right? Or like like more like a kit rather, right? So like you click that button, and instead of pulling out a tome like you would with the firebrand, you now actually get like a set amount of time to be using this new weapon set, right? Because they talk about you have a sword and shield here, right? Then they show a hammer, right? They show a hammer here. And then they show, which this looks like a different hammer. That doesn't look like the same. See, because like look at the shape of that weapon, but then you get like this weapon, and that one looks different to that weapon, right? This looks like a different hammer. Even though in the video she says like, oh, and the hammer as he pulls that up, but that looks more like a great axe or something to me. Okay, that looks like more like a great axe because that is not the same shape as what he pulls out um like right after this, right? Like right there. Like that looks definitely different. You can see the shape of it is way different. Right? This is like an actual hammer. It has like a flat side to this and has like a little like a blade on the other side. But and then swings it around. Okay, so we get to see two moves on there, but then he pulls out this weapon, which looks completely different. And like I said, looks more like a great axe to me. And so I don't know if this is like, because we see three weapons, so is it like tied to each F ability, right? Like one F ability pulls out the sword and shield, one F ability, like this looks like the healing one, so I would see like F2, you press F2 and you pull out this weapon instead, and then F3 is the sword and shield, and F1 is the hammer, right? Like something like that. I don't know, but that's kind of the impressions that I get from that. So let's kind of read about it because I think visually we've gotten a lot of oh my god, there's a lot going on there. Jesus. Okay, so let's kind of read about it. Last week we announced our 6th expansion, Guild Wars 2 Visions of Eternity, and with that comes the news that Elite Specializations are back. Over the next 3 weeks, we'll be providing details on all 9 Elite Specializations through trailers, blogs, and live streams. This week, we're focusing on the Mesmer, Ranger, and Guardian. Tune into our Twitch channel this Friday for a live preview of these Elite Specializations. So I thought, did I misread the whole thing? Because I was like, I guess I did, right? Like, oh, I got the date wrong. Okay, so that's happening this Friday. Okay, that's not happening today. I don't know why I thought it's gonna be happening today. So I'm wrong. I'm sure there was like people angrily typing like, Raleigh, you need to look at the date. It's gonna be in 2 days. Okay, so that's at 12 p.m. Pacific. Yeah, I'll be at work for that. So I won't be able to catch that, but that's fine. I mean, I'll probably watch it that afternoon, and then we can kind of talk about it, I guess. So, but anyways, so you'll also be able to play them. Yeah, yeah, blah blah. So we get the cool image here. I like it. One thing, like I said, the art has been really, really good. Not that the art was bad for Secrets of the Obscure or ever has, but I feel like for like since Janthia Wilds, like it's really like the art has been just so good, so good, because they started taking a lot of the abstract out, right? It used to be like they had like this big mixture of different things that they did, and a lot of it was like abstract. Recently I mentioned the like dry top the loading screen for Dry Top, it's very abstract, right? You can kind of see like a lot of different things if you want to. Like if you tilt your head, it looks like something else kind of thing, you know, but they really kind of are taking a step, and this looks really, really cool. I love this. And this is very much like, this art really reminds me a lot of like Guild Wars 1 Mesmers. Like just the way that the art is drawn and stuff, right? So the Troubadour, inspiring storytellers since the firstborn emerged from beneath the boughs of the pale tree 36 years ago. Yeah, so this is something that's really, really cool, and I love that, right? Like we always think like 25, 25, 25, right? Like we always think 25, but it's now 36 years, right? I don't know how they got to 36 because it's been 13 years that have gone in real life, and they have been very good about real life. So if it's 25 years, it should be 38 now. So I don't know where they got to 36 on that number, but yeah, the Sylvari are 36, right? Like the firstborn are technically, I guess what they're saying is 36. Like I said, I would say 38 because they were, um, they were, it was 25 when the game started, and they've been really good about like every year that passes in our real world has been like a year in Tyrian time, usually, but I might be off on that. I'm not exactly sure because I don't know the dates on the top of my head, you guys. I really don't. Okay, many Sylvari have taken the lesson: where life goes, so too should you. Which is one of the tenets from the Ventari's tablet. So hard. Traversing Tyria, battling their inner dragons, and finding their place in the time after. These far-flung travelers have seen and done much in such a short time, and some, whether through whim or wild hunt, have taken to regaling Tyrion's tales with recent famous and infamous figures such as the cunning Dougal Keen, the Philo Zamora, Soulkeeper, and even the scathing Scarlet Briar. Weird name dropping here, very interesting. So they're kind of really leaning on the Sylvari here, and saying that the Sylvari have kind of like taken up all of these stories as they traveled throughout. So this is a Sylvari inspired elite spec, which, I don't know. I really feel like something that's like storytellers and talking about like these figures in history is a little bit more, and like having skulls and stuff like that is a little bit more Nornish. Like that's actually like more Nornish. Like that's kind of what the Norn do, or it did at least in Guild Wars 1. So am I super happy with how they, I don't know. The thing is, I don't know how well, like the thing is that in the story, in the grand scheme of the story and the lore and the whatever, right, the elite specializations have never had like a massive impact because they can't, right? Because you can play any of 9 of them, or even some that are not attached to the expansion. So that means that they don't really play like a huge role. But I think that's my one nitpick about that. But yeah, Dougal Keen, Elmora, Soulkeeper, and Scarlet Briar, very interesting. Now these Sylvari troubadours have returned home from their time abroad to share their craft in good faith and to strengthen the bonds between their people and the rest of the Tyrian elites. Troubadours spin dramatic ballads and tales as their words weave magic and music to raise allies' spirits and demoralize their foes. Their recitals can even be accompanied by illusionary instruments for additional effect. And then we get a shot from the trailer there. Build up to a crescendo. Troubadours are mesmers who seek to support their allies in battle through the power of music and the fantastical tales of Tyrian heroics. Being more orally focused, troubadours opt to manifest their power by generating musical notes with their abilities rather than visually deceptive clones. Okay, so no more clones, we're getting musical notes instead. These notes are used to extend the duration of their instrumental enchantments, allowing them to command a lasting presence in combat. Once the orchestra is in full swing, troubadours use their keynote skill, crescendo, to swing the tide of battle with appropriate flair. Okay, so it sounds to me like the more clones we have out, which are now notes, they're musical notes rather than clones, which is really, really nice. I like that a lot. That's because the clone thing, I know that it's a main, but that's like the main part that if we change that, it makes the profession feel so much just new, right? It's like a new thing, and it looks like, so what it does is, instead of making the shatters stronger, it makes them last longer, right? Allowing them to command a lasting presence. Extend the duration of the instrumental enchantments. So I guess the F abilities are like instrumental enchantments now. And the more notes you have, the longer they last. Okay. The power of songs and tales. When playing as a troubadour, your shadow skills are replaced by instruments. When an instrument is played, it produces an initial magical effect. Performing with the reverberating lute will release waves of sonic energy, damaging enemies. Strumming the harmonious harp will create a healing area to provide succor to allies. After an instrument is used, it will continue playing in the background, providing bonuses to the player that can be further augmented through trades. So, okay, so like I said, so the shatters are now these AoE healing thingies, and it's kind of interesting because I did like I said, I think back of my I think back to my in like elite specializations speculations that I had, or like theories or whatever you want to call them, right? And I had the bard, right? The minstrel bard or something is what I called it. And yeah, I think that it was kind of the same way that it functions, where I had like the F abilities become like this AoE effect that they do around themselves or something. So I really like this. This is really, really cool. This feels like Mesmer is gonna play very differently. Even though we're not getting a new weapon, this feels like it's gonna be very impactful in the way that we play these these specs, you know. Troubadours use their voices as well as their instruments. They can recite the tale of Queen Jenna protecting Divinity's Reach to grant their allies distortion. Oh, grant distortion to allies. Interesting. So that is their that's the F4 ability, I guess. That's the distortion, and it's now going to be like an AoE distortion. That's very interesting. It's very funny that we're reciting Queen Jenna's protecting Divinity's Reach, which is like if you guys don't know what that's talking about, that's in season 3. Queen Jenna protects Divinity's Reach from the White Mantle, because the White Mantle are shooting like cannons into Divinity's Reach or whatever, and she creates this gigantic dome, around Divinity's Reach and protecting the citizens. So I guess that's playing a part there. Or they can invoke the story of Scarlet Briar, emulating her cruelty to debilitate their enemies. So I'm guessing this might be like F5. So this is like F4 and then F5 or something like that. Troubadours can become a whole band on their own through the Grandmaster trait call and response, creating an after image of an instrument that repeats its effects. Okay, so we'll have to see how that really, like, they don't give us too many details here, but it sounds very interesting. It sounds super fun. I'm not a type of person to play, like, bards and minstrels and stuff in games, and I don't think that this is really for me, but I have a feeling that there's people that are absolutely gonna love this. Absolutely gonna love this. Like, I think there's certain people that are like, oh my god, this sounds so cool. And I could totally see why. I like this. I think this is very cool. I think they can do some really interesting things. It really depends on like how the synergy, right? Because the thing is, when anytime we've gotten elite specializations, there's always a synergy with a weapon set because we would get a weapon set with it. But the thing is, how is the synergy build here with other weapons that we already have in game? You know, how can we build, because the weapons are one half of your bar, right? Like they're one half of your active skills that you're using. So it's very important to kind of see what this goes with. In the video, you can see that that she uses a staff, right? So is it like a condition? Because we don't really, they don't really talk about, they're talking about debilitating effects and enchantments and granting succor and damaging enemies, but we don't know, is it like, is it like, is it Condi that we're doing with it, or are we doing like as a power DPS? Like, how does it go, right? My theory is, okay, that was just like a bus driving by, and I was like, what does that sound? My theory is that it's going to be conditioned because that Mesmer was like wielding a staff. So I'm thinking maybe that's going to be a condition base. I don't know, but we'll see. All right, so we're moving on. So we get the Galeshot here. I really like her like ponytail. It's like a higher up ponytail. I maybe that's a she doesn't look like that in the video, but it would be cool hair to get like a ponytail that's like more up top for the Sylvari or whatever. But again, art is beautiful. Absolutely love it. Masters, the Galeshot, masters of the wind. For over 100 years, the Tengu of the Dominion of Winds have kept their gates shut and their arrows trained on the outside world. After minions of Primordius and Jormag threatened to siege the Dominion's walls in the last Dragon Rise, some Tengu have emerged to more actively engage in Tyrian affairs and, as a rare honor, offer cultural exchanges at the behest of their royal houses. One such exchange. So, for those of you that don't know the Tengu, I did make like a long time ago. I made a history of the Tengu video. If you guys want to watch it, to kind of give you, it's not very long, but kind of gives you like a rundown of the Tengu. But pretty much the Tengu, they're in the Dominion of Winds. It wasn't always like that. It was they kind of were called, like between Guild Wars 1 and Guild Wars 2, all of the different like Tengu were kind of called back to the Dominion of Winds, and they kind of took that over, and that became their thing, and they built a wall, and but they're apparently led by the four great houses, and they do have an emperor. Okay, so we don't know much about their culture, but that we do know. We do know that they have royal houses. There's 4 of them as far as I understand, probably each named after the like wind. There's the north wind and the west wind and the south wind or whatever, something like that, right? And they're all led by an emperor. That's all we know. We don't know who any of those people are. We don't really, we've gotten a little bit of tidbit here and there, especially during Aspid Saga, but nothing really to like make us understand them, in depth. One such exchange is the honor tradition of the Galeshot. These Tengu archers, skilled and oath-bound to protect the royal houses, are able to summon the 4 cardinal winds. So that's what I'm kind of talking about. Probably named after the 4 cardinal winds, the houses, right? The royal houses. To form a powerful cyclone bow and deliver swift justice to their foes. As contributing members of the Tyrian Alliance, the Tengu now offer tutelage in these skills to willing outsiders who express interest in the Galeshot craft. Okay, so we get a cool art of the Galeshot. Again, another shot from the trailer. Ooh, this looks really cool. Again, the art is fantastic. Wielders of the Cyclone Bow. Galeshots are rangers and premier archers of Tyria. Using their aptitude for nature magic, they can sculpt and command the wind at will. This power is manifested in the Cyclone Bow, a weapon that is capable of long-range devastation. The Cyclone Bow increases in strength as it's used, culminating in a powerful coup de grace to dispatch your enemies. Learning from I'm trying to like imagine this. So is this more like Learning from nature, Galeshots emulate birds in the sky by employing squalls of air. They're swift and graceful to ensure advantageous positioning in battle. So it sounds like it's almost like a kit, but there's like a set amount of time to it. So it feels more like a conjured weapon in that sense. So you get like only a certain amount of uses, but it increases in strength. But it doesn't say you lose it at the end. So I don't know. I don't understand. Okay, let's read more. Battle with keen sight and unerring aim. Galeshots are able to call upon the Cyclone Bow at will. The Cyclone Bow generates, so call upon it at will. So that sounds like the gun saber. The Cyclone Bow generates arrows over time. These arrows are a resource used to fuel its skills, such as supersonic arrow, a lightning fast shot of wind that deals heavy damage to enemies it pierces. Lightning fast shot of wind that deals heavy damage to enemies it pierces. Okay. As you use arrow-consuming skills with the bow, you progress towards enabling its finale, Hawkeye. Hawkeye locks onto your target and nearby enemies, then unleashes a hail of shredding arrows. These archers utilize squalls to control the flow of battle. They can call upon a freezing wind to chill their projectiles, launch themselves with a whirlwind, or even summon a raging tornado. Okay. Galeshot can form a closer bond with their avian allies through traits like Flock Together, enhancing bird pets and granting quickness to allies with bee skills. Interesting. Flock Together means bird pets are gonna see more uses, so that's very interesting. Okay. So yeah, so it looks like it's gonna work like the gun saber for the Bladesworn. But you stock like arrows as time goes on, meaning that you can run out. So when you're out of arrows, you switch out of that and you go back to your regular weapon. So you're not constantly in it because you only have a set amount of arrows. So I can kind of see this becoming. I can see an issue with this. Okay, I can see an issue with this where um I'm thinking of like the meta game, right? So just go with me here, okay? So we have this bow, and let's say your maximum number of arrows is like 10 or whatever, right? And you can use, so pretty much every skill uses like one arrow, so you can use every skill twice, but the recharge kind of takes some time. So you use it all, you use everything twice, and then you're kind of done with it, right? So you swap out of it, and then you have to use a regular bow, let's say regular weapon set, but it doesn't do as much damage. So then you have a trait that increases your maximum count of arrows to like 15 or 20 or something, right? So immediately, if that's one of the three choices, immediately I would think that that specific trait, if there is something like that, right? I'm just throwing that out there. If there is something like that, right? That immediately becomes the meta skill, because then it's like, oh, it's all, because then it's all about, you want to stock as many arrows as possible, right? Like you want to generate as many arrows as you can, you want to have as many as you can. If there's another trait that generates them faster, that is going to be the go-to, because I have a feeling that staying with the cyclone bow is going to be much stronger than any of the regular weapon sets. So I don't know how I feel about this, right? Because when I look at the gun saber, I can say, oh, okay, well, the gun saber I can be in the whole time and I don't have to swap out. But here we generate arrows over time, meaning that I cannot hold the bow the entire time because there's only a set amount. So I feel like that there's probably going to be a meta build that deals with, like, I feel like my question is, are the traits going to be competitive enough, right? Like, what if they're not competitive enough? What if, there's a certain ones that you really want to pick out over other ones just because you want to stay in the cyclone build for a long time, right? So I could see an issue with it. Not saying that there is an issue with it. Obviously, they're not giving us any specifics whatsoever. I guess Friday we're actually going to see them in action, right? But yeah, I could see maybe an issue with that, right? So, unless of course the way they do it is like the auto. So maybe this could function like, this is another possibility, the way that this could function. Maybe it functions like, again, like the Bladesworn. You have a gun saber, so you have the cyclone bow, and you generate arrows over time for your 2 to 5 skill. Okay, but your auto attack, your auto attack skill doesn't cost you an arrow or something, right? And you can consistently use it, almost like if you take something like the thief, for example, right? The way that the thief is built is that it has the initiative system, right? So the initiative system costs your 2 to 5 skills, right? They cost you different things. You can always auto attack, that doesn't cost you anything, but it costs you 2 to 5, costs you different initiative amounts, and you kind of have to figure out exactly what to use at what time, because you have to, you regenerate initiative over time. Does this work more like initiative? And can I still be in the cyclone bow if I choose to be, even if I'm out of arrows, right? That's kind of my question. So I could see this work in both of those ways. But yeah, it's very interesting. I don't know how people feel about that. So one of the things is that kind of locks the Rangers. If you're gonna be a Galeshot, that locks you into a bow build, right? Technically, right? It's almost like saying the gun saber is almost like a long range greatsword in a way, right? It locks you in that. So I don't know how people feel about that. I don't mind it. I actually really wanted to see some new bow gameplay in the game, so I could 100% see myself using this. But I feel like there might be some people that are like, well, but I don't like using bow. But I will say, mind you, that many of the weapons that the ranger has gotten over the years have been like close range weapons. So I guess it's kind of nice to get something where we can say, oh, we're not getting a new weapon, but we're getting abilities that are like long range, you know. So I do like that. But anyways, yeah. So let me know what you guys think about that. All right, and then we're on to this one looks so badass because that weapon looks like really, really cool. I still want to know what that lantern is all about. That weird like lantern thingy. The Luminary, Protectors of the Secret Flame. It sounds like a novel, right? It sounds like the Luminary is like a book series, and the Protectors of the Secret Flame is like the third book in the series or something, you know. In the years following the Char Civil War and the scattering of Bangar's dominion, relations between the four legions have remained steady, bolstered by events uh, after the end of the Dragon Cycle, with the Flame Legion formally rejoining the legions and the Iron Legion having appointed Smolder's successor. The two legions sought to commemorate the changing times with a joint project. Thus, the Luminary was born. Yeah, so they did talk about that in the video. So it's the Flame Legion combining powers with the Iron Legion to create the Luminary. In a shrewd diplomatic play, the two legions have since agreed to share their combined efforts with the Tyrian Alliance and its member races in the spirit and its member with the Tyrian Alliance and its member races in the spirit of continued collaboration in this new era. And its members, I don't know, whatever. Luminaries bear an enchanted iron brazier that sustains a powerful sacred flame. The bearer can wreathe themselves with this fire and wield a blazing arsenal of weapons against their foes. So we're calling on that little thing to get the power, right? While striking powerful stances mid-fray. Powerful stances mid-fray. Again, I feel like we're not getting one thing we're not seeing here. Oh, maybe I'm misinterpreting all of this, but it looks to me like we're not seeing like utility skills. I don't know. This all seems to be like mechanical to me. All of these things, right? Like the Galeshot is like the mechanic, right? Still don't know how that functions. How do we pull out the Galeshot? Sorry that I just thought about this because we have the pet, right? And our pet abilities are the F abilities. So how do we pull out the Galeshot? The Cyclone Bow. How do we pull that out? Are we losing control over our pet? Do we lose control over our pet or something? I don't know. Seems strange. I wonder how that works. Anyways. Okay. Harness the Radiant Shroud. So there is a shroud, I guess. Luminaries are guardians, stalwart combatants on the battlefield, capable of putting out respectable damage or supporting their allies. Their brazier provides energy for the Radiant Shroud, in which they are able to wield various weapons of light and flame to adapt to the situation at hand. Luminaries also have access to stance utility skills. So here we are actually gaining additional tools for offense, defense, crowd control, and mobility. Okay, so here we're actually getting like an actual specific utility skill name. So they're getting stances. How do we feel about that? How do we feel about Guardian getting stances? That's very interesting. That was not something that I would have thought that they were getting, but so I guess one of the stances is offensive, one is defensive, one is crowd control, and one is mobility. Okay. Radiant Shroud is a new take on the Shroud mechanic. This Shroud has no limiting resource, allowing players to always enter when the Shroud is not on cooldown. While in Radiant Shroud, your weapon skills are replaced with 5 new skills. A basic attack in the first slot and 4... So, I don't know who wrote this, but this is not as... Like, here, you don't... Like, it gives you an idea. It gives you a concept, right? It gives you, like, the Cyclone Bow increases, and, like... Or, what would it be? It would be... Yeah, it's like it's it's right up here. It would be like these, and I feel like here they kind of gave us just like ideas or whatever. Keynote skill. I mean, I guess keynotes is the new skill type, I guess. But it's so weird. They're giving us not a lot of details on these, but then they're going full ham on here, telling us like right here, giving us all the details, right? Because they like first of all, we didn't get a second paragraph on the other ones, but here we are. So we're getting more details on the Guardian than any other ones. Radiant is the new shroud. Okay, no limiting resource. You can enter Radiant. Your skills are replaced by 5 new skills: a basic attack in the first slot and 4 Radiant weapon skills in the second through 5th slot. Okay, so I was wrong. So I guess when we go into the shroud, the different weapons I guess are gonna come out. So 2 to 5 are gonna be. I guess there's gonna be different weapons that you pull out for each one or something. Illuminating weaponry. Using a radiant weapon skill will equip that weapon while performing an initial attack and then flip over to the weapon's additional skill. Okay, so it's a flip over skill. So if I press like 2, I might pull out the hammer and do like a swing attack or something, and then I get a flip over skill, and then I get another one, which is probably like a slam down or something with the hammer, right, on like F2 or something. The Luminary's Grandmaster minor trait, Radiant Armaments, grants a unique passive bonus based on the equipped weapon, which lingers for a bit after exiting Shroud. Okay, Luminaries looking to maximize their outgoing damage may want to use the hammer right before exiting to take advantage of its bonus damage passive, while those who need to support their allies might prefer to end on staff to gain access to its increased outgoing healing. So based on which weapon you use, you get like a specific effect, and you can probably only have one effect. And if you want that to be used throughout, like if you need more healing or something, you want to use the staff and then exit Shroud, and then you get like passive healing, right? Players are free to use all 4 weapons while in Shroud, but there is a trade-off. The recharge time of Radiant Shroud will increase for each weapon used beyond the first. Okay, so the cooldowns increase the more weapons I use. Okay, that's an interesting twist on the Shroud. That's a very interesting twist on a Shroud. Not what I would have expected, but again, it's something that I feel like I would need to see in action. Huh. I'm curious. So they didn't give us a lot of details here. They definitely did not give us a lot of details. So I'm not sure exactly. I mean, I don't feel bad about this. I really don't, but I feel like I didn't really get the info I was looking for. You know what I mean? Okay. The thing I will tell you guys that none of these professions are really like my main. I've been trying to get into Guardian recently, and I don't know. There's something about Guardian, so maybe this will do it for me. The Luminary, I'm not sure. But I just can't really. I don't know. I seem to not really like connect with it. The Ranger I have been kind of getting into with Janthia Wells and stuff like that. I showed off my characters recently. And I have like an owl themed character, so this will work really well, and I have a feeling that I'm really gonna like this. I don't know if this is gonna be my new main or something, but I could definitely see this actually turn out really well. Again, something that someone pointed out as well is we're getting new pets. We always get new pets, so maybe we're gonna get a couple of really cool like bird type of pet, because obviously, you know, they're talking about like pet. What do they say? Like bird pets are getting enhanced. So I feel like it would be kind of weird if we don't get a bird pet this time around, right? Like if you're giving me a trait that increases bird pets, but then you're not giving me a bird pet in the new one, like that's kind of weird, right? So I feel like we're gonna get a bird pet or 2, you know, something like that. And yeah, like I said, I've never really played like a minstrel bard or anything like that. I do like Mesmer, but I'm kind of stuck on Mirage. I really like Mirage, so I still try out all of those. But yeah, it's interesting to me. It's very interesting. Um, I don't know. I could see these all be very good. I think the one that I like the least so far, based on what I've read, is the Luminary. I will say, because I think that the way that the shroud works seems to be like a little limiting in a way. It depends on like the increase, but I feel like, let's say I'm using all of my different skills and I pull out all these different weapons and I use all the flip over skills, and my like shroud recharge increases, you know, the recharge increases by like so many seconds, and now I have to wait like a full minute before I can go back into shroud. Then I feel like I'm kind of losing. There's like a trade-off, right? That's like there's a built-in trade-off, kind of like how we talked about the arrows earlier, right? The arrows sucking, but that doesn't seem to be as like punishing in a way. This feels like a little punishing. And again, it kind of, I can see like a meta build coming where it's like, oh, okay, so the rotation is you go into Shroud and you only use your 2 ability twice, and then you go out of Shroud, and you only use your 2 ability, but you don't use any of the other abilities because you don't want your recharge of your Shroud to go too high. So the best way to play this is that you go to Shroud, use your 2 ability, it flips over to another skill, so you use that 2 ability, and then you go out of Shroud, and then use your regular ability, right? Your regular, like, so, you know, it seems like limiting, maybe. It seems like, again, I don't know the specifics, right? They're giving us, like, ideas. They're giving us, like, basic, you know, outlines of, like, what this is going to look like. So I don't know. But that's what I could see. Again, I could see some issues arising with that, where it's, like, there's a specific way of playing that Shroud, right? Where, like, in Reaper Shroud, like, I don't care, I can just jump in and it's always going to be a 10-second cooldown, right? Like, and it's not a big deal at all, right? Like, I don't, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how many skills I use. Like, that's the kind of, that's what I'm trying to kind of get at, is, like, there's certain elite specializations that don't have a trade-off, and then there are certain elite specializations that have a trade-off, and it sounds like there's a trade-off here, but they wanted to step away from having trade-offs, right? Like I said, in Reaper Shroud, I can go into Reaper Shroud and I can use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And then go out of Shroud and still get a damage bonus based on the trades, right? Like, because there is a trade that gives you like bonus damage when you exit Shrouds and stuff like that, and it doesn't matter which of the weapon skills you use, but you still get a damage, thing. Obviously, here the advantage is that I can say, well, I want more healing or more defense or like more boon duration or whatever it's going to be, right? Like, I use one of different skills right before I exit, like a specific skill. But again, it kind of limits you, because it's like, okay, if you're like a healer in combat, then your Shroud, you only want to use that one healing ability, or you want to at least use that healing ability before you go out of Shroud, right? And it kind of limits your way that you're playing it. You can't just like press any button. You have to be more precise on like exactly which button you want to use at what time, right? So it feels a little limiting to me. Not that I dislike the idea, but I just, again, I kind of need to see it in action to really understand what they mean by all of that. Like I said, I think out of all 3 of those, the one that I like the most is the Galeshot, then the Troubadour, and then I want to say the Luminary is last for me, which I actually thought the Luminary would be top, but yeah, I don't know. Again, and you guys can let me know how you feel about that. We're going to get to see them in action on Friday. You guys might see me cover that. I'm not sure. I might stream on Friday and we can kind of like talk about it. We can watch the stream together. We can kind of talk about it or something. I'll do something like that. But I don't think I'll make like a dedicated video about it, you know. So, but yeah, right here is the logo, and that's the Inquest logo. Just so you guys know, like, this is the regular like Asur Instructor. Like, while it's here on screen, I don't want to talk about that, but that's like the regular, like, that's what the architecture of the Asura always looked like. But that symbol in the middle there is the Inquest symbol, if you guys haven't seen that, the logo for the Inquest. So, but anyways, yeah, so that's going to be it for today. Like I said, I'm not super disappointed, but I do have some questions, and I'm kind of, I'm reserving my hype until Friday, until I see them in action, right? And I kind of, I'm going to be very excited to see them in action and see exactly what they're showing us, you know? So, but anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys are feel inclined to support the channel, I do have referral links down below. If you are new to Guild Wars 2, you can use my referral link down below to sign up for a free account to play the max level. And there's also a referral link if you're looking to buy the new expansion or any of the other expansions. Make sure to use those. It would really, really help me out. I really appreciate anyone that has done it so far. I've seen it. I can see when someone uses it and stuff. So I appreciate that very much. And yeah, if you guys want to hang out in Discord is there. Subscribe to the channel, you know, all the regular stuff. So, but I appreciate you guys very much, and I'll see you all in the next video. All right, bye guys.